to try to stick to our theme so far of Brett laying out a lot of challenges and me trying to lay out, I'm not going to call them solutions, but things we tried to do to mitigate challenges. So I'm also hoping to give a little more background here and some scopes so you understand a little bit more about the enterprise that we feed. So as was mentioned before, MediaWiki, we started in like 2008 to be an online internal encyclopedia. We're just part of a tool called MillSuite, and there's more information actually. There's a Wikipedia entry on us, so you can look that up if you want to learn more about what MillSuite does and some references. We have nearly, and this is the course of from 2008 till now, nearly 400,000 users have come onto the site. So that's kind of the McDonald's, how many people we've served number. We have a little more than 20,000 articles, and I use that term loosely because there's different ways you can count that in the wiki depending on what you count. That's basically categories, main pages, portals, so not counting templates and stuff like that. And then we do have more than 7,000 categories, so that certainly represents a problem that Semantic Wiki helped us fix. So we put Semantic Wiki up first in about 2010, and we started using properties very well to replace some of those 7,000 categories with a kind of a more solid structure. It wasn't until 2012 that we took on semantic forms and put that in place, and we were able to have a lot more success with that because one of the problems we had in the old system was people using multiple templates for the same purpose. Like there was 5 or 6 different Army organization templates out there, and we created like an overall Army organization form so we're able to scale down those numbers a little bit and have those things working better. So we also made good use of concepts because a lot of people weren't very good at categorizing things, and then we could take multiple properties together and build these concepts to list something like all of the installations for the Army outside of the United States. That would become a concept because those are 3 separate data points from properties that we had and we could put together. That should be a category, but people aren't good at categorizing, so it becomes a concept. In terms of overall, we have right around 500 different properties in the wiki, and there's almost 2 million values assigned to those properties, so it's a lot of data on our wiki. So forms work so well, I think that in my opinion, especially on a wiki of this scale with this many people, if you don't have forms, it's not going to work very well for you. You need standard forms for your different article types. That really helped us out a lot, and I've got coming up on the next slide, you could see the kind of the top level article types we have. The drop-downs really help for the standardization, and I always include some kind of values from property type ahead to try to get people to select the same data value over and over and over again. I also love the has default form and has alternate form. That's a great way to get people to use forms. It was stated earlier today that we definitely want to drive people towards using forms so that they fill in the semantic data, so setting default form and alternate form on your properties really helps to get that done. And this is an example of where the type ahead, the drop-down can really help you out, and the fact that Semantic recognizes redirects. This is real from our wiki right now. Brett told you our organization name is Program Executive Office Command Control Communications Tactical. These are 6 redirects that we have right now on the site. So, before we had Semantic, people would list these out differently in templates and then maybe try to build a category off the template, and now we'd have like 6 different categories running around there for PEO C3T organizations, Program Executive Office organizations, all that stuff. So with the ability to have redirects and Semantic recognized, we can pull together smart listings of PEO C3T organizations and not disparate category groups that are all messed up. We make good use of reusable form pieces, stuff like this, like a social media box. We'll make this as a separate template and then put it on all our forms over and over again. I think I'm noticing from some of the examples we've seen, we have like kind of a lot more complicated article listings than a lot of other semantic sites. We're pulling a lot of stuff. In order to get people to use our semantic or to recognize the benefits of it more, we create a lot of templates that do the queries for you. So things like if people want to make use of the gallery or the slideshow result format, we'll put a template together where they just have to put like the name of the template and then the category that all their images in, and then it'll do the query form and show the slideshow. So it's a good way to have people use these great formats and results and printouts you can do without them having to learn how to do queries themselves. Just build some templates around the query and have them plug in a category. So this is a good view of kind of at the highest level what we deal with. We have pages about organizations, pages for military biographies, pages about installations, facilities, products, so like software and systems, and then doctrine. I heard this come up yesterday with kind of discussion between browsing versus searching. I'm a searcher myself. I think that is the way to go, but it's not the way everybody in the military operates. The most popular clicks off our wiki homepage are to a browse links that we have. People in the military don't like to search. They like hierarchy. They like to go browse down 75 folder levels from their shared drive to find what they want. So we set up a lot of query forms on the wiki so that you go to like an organization's query form and you select the service you want, you select the country you want, or you select the command you want, then you hit go, and it gives you a list of organizations. And the opposite of that would be kind of the Amazon experience is what I'm calling it here. And that's when we build a query form that's just a search box. So they type in a search term to search against, the title, the description, and maybe another field from an organization article, and then I'll pop back a result format from the filter. So if everybody's familiar with the filtered result format, it's fantastic. You run a search, you can pop back results, and then a series of filters people can do. So maybe if somebody's searching for like installations, they pop a keyword in there, they hit the search button, then I'll bring back a filter that'll ask, what country, what service, what organization's involved. And then you can kind of like, when you search on Amazon, and then you can filter by the type of TV and the size in inches and LED or LCD or whatever. So it's the same kind of concept. In order to try to encourage people to actually do semantic projects on their own, for better or worse, sometimes those work out really well. Sometimes they make really bad properties in my system that I have to clean up. But we put this 12-step training guide together. I'm not going to go into obviously all the steps, but you can pull this down if you want to see it. And it just kind of steps them through the process from not knowing anything about semantic to getting them to the end of making their own project. And I just had 3 kind of unique examples I wanted to bring up of what people have done with that guide to build their own semantic project. We have a team that built a ticketing system on our wiki. So they actually use a form that users go in there, fill out a form, and able to create a ticket for their system. They use the page name and the unique number in the info tag for a form in order to create an increasing number for the page title. So it'll be like ticket 1, ticket 2, ticket 3, ticket 4, obviously that kind of stuff to keep all the names unique. And then all the members of their IT department have a inline query set on their user page. It shows them the status of all the tickets they're responsible for. So kind of a unique use of the system, make a ticketing system in the wiki. Someone else created an app store. So they put up a bunch of, I think this is a Navy customer that put up a bunch of apps that they're using in the Navy. They used the rating feature that I showed you yesterday to put ratings on all their apps so you could rate them. They put them in categories. And then they used the filter format to build kind of like a front end to their store. So you go into the front end of the store and you see the filter result format. You could check off the box to say, what's the app for, who's the app designer, how high is the app rated, and you could check off all that stuff, kind of just like going to a Google Play Store. And lastly, this was an Army unit that put a kind of like a unit training query form box together. So they put up all their training aids as separate articles on the site, put them into different divisions, job aid categories, and then if you're rotating in for that unit, you go to this page, you select what your position is, and then it pulls back a list of all the training that is required for you to do while you're in that rotation before you move ahead. So good way to just semantically annotate some data and get people to the stuff they want. And that's it. Questions?
Questions? Anyone? Yeah.
Just because I was the furthest one away from the computer. It's a quick question, but we were curious on the first slide you had, but how many concurrent users do you have in a given day of those 400,000 active or registered?
It's about 7,000. It's under 10. It's in the neighborhood of like 7,000 concurrent per day.
And to add to that, how many of those are editing the data?
Less. Significantly less. I think the last time I checked active usage in like the last, you get that active usage stat in the last 30 days, it was somewhere around 10, and we've got about like 7,000 unique people per day coming on per average, so there's a little bit of a flux there, but around 10,000 people in the last 30 days will be active editors.
That's still a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. In my experience in the websites that we have about 7,500 users. Most of the people that edit only a handful of edits are probably only working on their own user page, and the rest is really contributing content. You talk about 100 people maybe. Yeah, so I think you have a good score.
Yep.
Anyone else?
All 400,000 have access to every page, right?
That's the 400,000 is a list of all the people who have ever come to the site. So some of those people might be dead, so they don't have access anymore.
I just had a question about
Yes.
the infrastructure to be able to support that many concurrent users. What do you do as far as load balancing and caching?
Yes, we do use a front-end caching service through Akamai. I think most people are probably familiar with that. So we use global Akamai edge servers. We also do, I don't know how much I can get into our architecture safely, but we do node balancing, and we do have multiple nodes set up. So I can't say too much more than that, but yeah.
Just on the question of the access to all of the content, like the short answer is any active user has access to all of the content. Right? There are certain pages that are protected, admin level protected, but other than that, it's open access for read and write for all of the pages.
Well,
All right, thank you.
that was a quickie, but a goodie.